Dave Charrier.
Dan Mulqueen. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good.
I'm excited
Very
for
good.
today, man.
Yeah, me too.
I'm also a little nervous because the guy, Adrian Portia, is our guest today, and we've known him for a long time. I'm a little nervous this will be like a 4 to 5 to 6 hour episode.
Yes. Oh, but he is fast.
It's true. He is fast. Everything is triple time.
Yeah, we can do that in 10 seconds.
Yeah, man. But I think we're gonna get into some. I mean, if anybody listening hasn't heard his music or seen him play, he is, I would say, I don't know about you, the fastest, right?
I think he's the fastest.
I think so too.
We need to do I should compare more, but I think he ruins everyone.
I think so too. Yeah, if I'm putting money, if I'm betting money, I'll put my money on him. But it's also more than that. It's very precise. It's very dynamic. It's exciting. He's just a great player, and he's got a lot to offer. He's done a lot of stuff, and I'm excited to talk to him, man.
Yeah, me too. Let bring him right now.
That's it. And he is in Australia. I mean, it could be. I think he's 4.5 days and 12 hours ahead of us. Like, who even knows if he's awake?
Let's double check. Did you contact him?
I did, yeah, but I mean, it's a time traveler down there. But anyway, let's bring him on. Adrian Portia, let's go. We're becoming real professionals at this.
Yes. We're gaining experience from an episode to another one. I hope this episode won't be really fast.
Yeah, I think it'll be. If it's any indication for the player,
my joke.
We'll be done in 10 minutes. Joke. Everything.
Yeah,
that's it.
I'm
it was
amazed
a joke in
you
English
got
too,
my
bro.
joke. What? I did a joke in English.
It was an English joke. That's it. Round of applause.
You know what? Honestly, I'm super funny in French.
I believe it. You're funny in English, man.
Okay.
You got good jokes.
Just making sure
jokes.
I'm funny. Also, a little bit English.
Yeah. No, you're good. But
okay. Yes. Let's welcome this dude.
That's right. So today we have the one and only Adrian Portia. He's got a studio album called Life in Color that came out in 2015. He's got a single called Fragments it came out in 2019. He's the co-creator of the Panos Festival. He's played almost every major handpan festival there is. The guy hates sleeves on his shirt. He is one of the fastest, if not the fastest player there is. You won't catch him in a steakhouse, but you'll catch him on the Handpan show. Adrian Portia, how you doing, brother?
Look at this, man. Like, just for you, man. Just for you.
Hate sleeves. Oh, you killed me.
All right, now listen. How are you, dudes?
Good, man.
How many times did you write this intro down for me? Like,
I can show you my notes that just because we're such good friends, I was like gonna write down. I wrote down just the years of your album, but I was like, I want to see what kind of mood he's in because I didn't want to bring up the steakhouse thing or the sleeve thing if you seem like you were in a bad mood. But you seem like you're in a good mood today, so you know.
When have I ever been in a bad mood with you?
No, I don't think ever. Never.
That was great.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
How are you, man? Thanks for sitting down with us.
I'm good. Yeah, thanks for having me. No, I'm good, guys. I'm good. Lots happened, obviously, for everyone. In different ways. So some areas have been a bit tough, but getting through it and working my way back into what I love doing. To kind of speak to that, I mean, Australia was all over the news with especially like live venues and nightlife shutdowns and all this. Like as you're a professional musician, like what did that time do to you? I mean, look, I wasn't able to work for nearly 2 years.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it went nuts here. And so it was for artists and musicians, it was extremely hard. Obviously financially, but then just, even like emotionally, because you start doubting everything and you're thinking, well, am I going to be able to do this anymore? Like what's happening, And I had some other things compile on top of that with losing my mother. And so I had to sort of shut down and just like go back into myself and take time away from everything. I switched off all my social media and I was just there for my family and, obviously going through what we had to as a family to try and get through it. But now things are kind of opened up again. It's a bit of a weird situation because it's still, because I don't live like in the city. I'm out in the country, and so before, like everything would just sort of, when you're in that flow, it's all sort of happening. But now it's kind of like I had to start again with getting sort of other gigs. Because, you know, like handpan isn't the only thing I do. Obviously, I'm a drummer and percussionist. I also DJ. So I, you know, I would do a lot of work on with all that in between playing handpan. And so, you know, I'm just trying to just get back on the horse. I've got other little projects that I'm working on as well. And so, and by the way, I also have another. Yeah, go on.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I also do have a live album that you missed there, man. You haven't done your research.
It's on Spotify, though.
No, I'm not even on Spotify.
We're so prepared.
I'm old school, man. I'm old school, but no.
So you want to do it again? Yeah.
No.
All right. Hey, if you want the Adrian Portia live cassette, you have to send him a written letter to.
I think I have a mini disc.
Yeah, that's right.
A mini disc, exactly.
Yeah, the Adrian Portia 8-track.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
But so everything, it's coming. You know, like the nightlife, the shows in Australia, is it kind of coming back now? Like what's percentage wise?
Real quick,
back. I mean, you're going.
No, I have a question. Just before we move to the topic and everything, what were your thoughts during the lockdown? If you were like, may not be a musician the next years, do you think about something else, doing something else?
Yeah. I thought about a lot of different things. Oh man, I mean,
building.
You're a barber, right? Aren't you a barber? Or you went to
yeah. I was going to go back to that. I was thinking about doing that again. I mean, just a lot of stuff, you know, like, I mean, I have some other ideas that I'm actually working on right now. I can't say what it is, but there's like a little business venture that I'm working on as well. So, but yeah, look, a lot of, you know, I'm sure we all went through that similar feeling because when you get taken away, or something that you've done on this regular, consistent basis gets taken away from you, essentially, you know, you start thinking, what's going to happen? Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
What the hell am I going to do now?
Yeah.
Because, you know, really for a moment there, I actually started accepting that I'm probably never going to travel again. You know, obviously, you know, I can't do any of these handpan things anymore. Just you start thinking in this a little bit negative way because that's what was presented for us in the time.
Yeah, I don't know if you went through it, man, but I had this thing where I had, you know, like the same exact thoughts, but then there was almost like this, you know, as musicians, especially like professional musicians who are touring and putting out stuff and kind of going down different avenues, like you mess up so much. But this time you could have done everything right and it still got messed up. Like, so there was a sense of like, man, like I didn't do this. So let's, you know, we can move on now because I did like, I did everything I could. So like now let's just on to the next. I don't know if you had anything like that or if you took it all kind of on yourself or how you went through it.
I mean, look, because my situation or my circumstance was difficult in the time, but because of what happened with my mother, like I kind of just shut down everything. I just accepted that, all right, listen, whatever's going to happen around me, I can't control that. It was upsetting, you know, because there was this, like I said, you know, I was in this consistent flow, traveling a lot, performing, teaching, and that was just like, boom, cut. So my mind for a good portion of it was more about trying to save my mother's life rather than anything with music or anything else in my life. One thing I did do after my mother and everything is I actually started rebuilding one of my old cars, because a lot of people don't know this, but I'm into cars. And I'm into doing up cars and stuff. So I actually started rebuilding an old car. Did you see it? It was the little red one that was in the garage.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Engine Alfa was out. Romeo run?
A Fiat. Yeah.
The Fiat.
The other one's the Alfa. And that was just like a point for me to just kind of like hone in on something that I enjoy that I hadn't done for a long time and just like take my mind, you know, try and put my mind at ease. Music really was interesting. I mean, I was going pretty hard the years before with the traveling, teaching, everything, playing. And in one way, I also use this experience and this time to have a break, to just, you know, I knew that as far as playing wise and chops and all this stuff that, you know, having nearly I didn't play, man, for like a year and a half. I literally just came here maybe for a couple of minutes and just a little tap, 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 and then I'd go. And then that was it, you know, but I never solidly played for like a year and a half, but I knew like, I played so much handpan over these last since 2013 definitely. I started like that. You know, I just once I come back, it'll be okay. You know, I'll just get back into it and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But
so now, like,
it was weird, man. It was a weird situation, weird feelings. You know, you're going through all these different emotions.
Yeah. So obviously, you know, so sorry to hear about your mom, and our condolences. Thanks, and we hope you guys are doing well. You know, you and the family. But is the hiatus for you kind of over now in terms of, you know, everything at home? Like, are you looking to get back to the festivals, looking to do the next record? Or are you still kind of, you know, homebody for a while?
Yeah. You know, I had to sort of take on the role of doing things for the family and my father that my mother used to do. So I had it still quite a bit. I thought I was going to come back real strong last year. I thought, nah, that's it. You know, I've given a year and a bit, and but it sort of went on. And then we ended up having massive floods here, and my father's house got flooded, just like last October. Yeah. So it's just like compounding all these things. So now going through all that process, but all that aside, I'm super inspired this year. We had Panos at the start of the year. We had David Cookham in here as well. He came to my place as well. We got a little video that we're going to bring out soon. So that was fun. Nice. So look, I feel like that's all behind me. There's still a few things niggling, but overall, like I'm ready to go. I want to start getting back into it. Things are opening up, obviously overseas. So I'd love to get back to, you know, traveling again and come and see you guys.
Yeah,
and
we're waiting for that.
Some performances. Yeah,
that's
right.
Be
Good.
Yeah,
and you know, I mean, look, the thing with it all is that, you know, music is an experience. Music comes from experiences, you know, and so everything I've been through, I feel like, even though I haven't physically played the instrument as much, but something else has changed. Something has changed within me musically, like that I'm going to express now. So like I'm looking forward to that, you know, to that journey now to see where the next chapter for me on this instrument goes. So I mean, I'm ready.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned Panos, and we're going to talk about that later. But you know, speaking of your playing and, you know, getting back to it, I mean, you are widely accepted as the fastest player. Not even like, you know, not even like there's like there's like, you know, we're not going to cause any beef, but there's like, you know, Liron Man is like known for his speed, you know, Nadi Shana, but I mean,
you
BPM for BPM. Like if you guys were in a street race, I would bet all my money on you.
You know, I tried to slow down some videos, but even VLC, when I go to 0.2, it's still fast. Cannot follow you.
Well, I mean, look, the thing is, like, without control, it doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
You know, I think, and that's where my focus went to, you know, if I'm going to utilize speed, because I know I've kind of got that thing, the fast player. I don't see myself as a fast player. I see myself as someone who can utilize speed in certain moments, you know. And I also, you know, through the journey and learning on the instrument, I am, you know, I was also trying to just do things slow. I think I can do a vast majority of it all, you know. I mean, that's what it's about for me, being versatile and having as big a vocabulary as possible. And you know, but again, the thing is, like, speed for me, it doesn't mean anything unless it's in control. And the main thing for me is, even when utilizing speed, is how clean is it and how precise is it? Yeah. So how clean is my sound and how precise is my stroke and everything on the instrument? And that's where the work was put in before, you know, to really try and build that. And the thing with speed too is that I think just physically, some people have it like a genetic thing. You know, you have like fast twitch fibers. As an example, you know, like David Cookham, you know, we've had this discussion many times. He's like, I just cannot do it. I can't do it. He goes, I don't have that fast twitch fiber, you know, and I agree with that. I think some people just genetically have that ability a little bit more than others. You can still build it, you can still develop it. But yeah, it's not easy on the instrument. It's not that easy, especially when you're moving from one side to the other side, you know. So that's where my whole technique, which is what I teach people, is to really be as fluid and as efficient as possible with your movements of your hand. Man,
that's impressive in your playing. You play fast, crazy fast, but with control and dynamics, and flying over the instrument. It's amazing.
Yeah, and then you brought up the efficiency and stuff, and it just brought up a story to my memory when I was with you in Australia at the Panos Festival. There was like, after one of the concerts was like this, we jammed for like 2 hours, and it was like literally like I went to the gym. I was like, my shirt, it was like sweat everywhere. Like I was like legitimately sweating. Like I needed water. I had to like have a stretch. But you stood up and you were fine, and it was like I felt so fat and out of shape. And then I looked at you and you were like, yeah, anybody want to keep this going? Like, so with that, man, like, so where does all this, like, the efficiency of movement and all that, is that like adapted rather from drum set playing, from other hand percussion? Like, where does that come from?
Hey, and remember, we did that in France too. Remember, I pushed you in Matthew's tent. Remember, we did that massive jam in there as well.
I will say, in my defense, both of these times it was like between 45 and 50 degrees Celsius. So
it was really hot.
Yeah. I mean, look, I obviously, my drumming background. As far as like endurance, I guess you're really talking about more than anything, right? So obviously, if you're fit, I used to be a cyclist and things like that. I guess that helps. But just a lot of hours practicing things that are building that efficiency. And also, I really believe that my technique on the instrument, like the way I actually strike and the way that I utilize it, helps me to really conserve my energy. So I can get a lot of sound out of the instrument and a lot of presence, but I don't have to really physically do as much. My core is very strong. This is why I sit on the floor too, which is difficult. For a lot of people, it's not easy to do that.
Because it doesn't come from the shoulder, right? It's only from the wrist.
Actually, from the elbow. Elbow through to the wrist, through the fingertip. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's why no sleeves, maybe.
I need to be free.
But man, I'm sure, man, it's it's part of the topic today was speed and precision, because I know for you, I mean, I've heard you say it in workshops for years. It's like that precision is like just as important as the actual technique itself. But for people who might have just discovered you or been following your music, like what is like the one practice tip for developing speed that you've got?
Practice slow.
And where does how do you push the gas? Like what's the...
You push the gas only to a point where you go a little bit faster, and if you make a mistake, that's your level. Just dial it back down.
Okay.
Go from there again, and then just consistently build and build and build. So I would do a lot of exercises, like when I was really full on practicing, it would be up and down. Simple, right? Simple, but up and down the scale, one hand, one finger. I'd utilize usually both, the index and the middle finger. So I would just up and down the scale, okay? Now I would start super slow with a metronome, ding, ding. So now what I'm doing now is essentially I'm working on the precision, I'm working on the muscle memory of the positioning of my hands. I'm looking for sweet spot, okay? When I sort of tell people about the sweet spot of the instrument, for me, and it's different for some other players, but for me, you have your tone field and you have your dimple, okay?
Yeah.
I strike right in between
on the edge,
those two outer lines. Right in between them. Yeah. So you have your outer line and the dimple line. I'm in the middle of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So a lot of players like to strike on the dimple line. For me, I find that that's actually, the sound is a little bit more like contained. It's a little bit more muted. So it's not as clear. I'm trying to get like the purest tone. Now, I will explore all elements of that when I'm playing without thinking about it. But when I'm going for the purest tone to get the most sound out of the instrument, for me, it is literally that in between of your dimple line and your tone field line, right in the center of that. Yeah. I don't know if you can see here, it's a bit hard to see, but yeah. And so I will be working on that while I'm working slow. Okay. So it's the movement of the arm, okay, going up and down the scale, doesn't matter how many notes you've got. And then I'd go left hand, of course, because, we want to build both evenly. And then I'd literally just go with the metronome. So it's tick, tick, tick. I'll do that for like 3 or 4 minutes. Then I'll just go tick, 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 and then it's faster and faster and faster. And then I'll just get it up to tick, 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 whatever it is, And then as soon as I make a mistake, I know, right, that's where I'm at. Dial it back down and then go from there each day and just building it.
You never practice your left hand alone. It's always both, right?
No, I practice left hand alone as well.
Alone as well, okay.
Yeah, both. I mean, I would practice more on the left so I can get the balance, to really build it up. Because obviously, if you're right hand dominant, this is going to be a little stronger than the left. And I mean, even in workshops and teaching, every time I start showing people how to do this technique or how to build these exercises, as soon as I go, okay, left hand, you hear this, and then it's like everyone's like, it's because for most people, and even people who've had a bit of experience, it's like when I've sort of brought this up, they've realized how weak their non-dominant hand actually is. Mm-hmm. So that in itself is a great thing to really realize, because, the instrument, and this is a great thing about it, but most people, when they come to the handpan, they really just want to go from here to here straight away.
Yeah.
And
no shortcuts.
The thing is, you with any instrument, you have to do that foundation work. If you want to get from here to here and really have everything strong behind you
correctly,
you got to spend the time doing the slow things and doing the basic things and the things that in your mind in the moment might be boring. But believe me, if you want to learn piano and be a concert pianist, you have to start with the slowest, most simplest things. And that has to go for years and years and years. For me, 10 years on any instrument of dedicated practice and commitment is what you need to really get to a level.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, don't rush to play fast. Just take it easy, play slow.
Slow. To play fast, play slow.
One thing too that I really admire about your playing is, and I think it's, a lot of time it's when you're kind of categorized, or anybody is starting to play super fast, you lose almost all dynamics. It's just in your head, it's just like fast, and you forget there's fast 10% intensity, and then there's fast 60% intensity. So what is your practice like to be able to control it so much, where it's not just precise where you're hitting on the instrument, it's not just fast, but it's precise, it's fast, and it's controlled, where you could go super low or super
your dynamics.
So this is a body connection with the instrument. So obviously having the technique and the efficiency, the technique, so through the technique you gain the control. And then what happens, I've done so much of that it's a body connection for me. So I'm utilizing my body in order to create the dynamics. So through the touch, I can, it's like a transfer of energy, basically. So energetically, I just bring everything back and I can go softer through that technique. When I want more, it's a little bit hard to explain, and it sounds a little bit sort of, but it's an energetic transfer through to the instrument, because the work's been done to have the control over my technique. So energetically, that's how I can control my dynamics and bring it in, bring it out, even when it is at speed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
So how do you train that? I'm not 100% sure actually how you train that. I think it becomes more of an awareness than anything.
A feeling that your body is, because what you're saying is that when you go fast, your body also try to. So this means training our body to have the same feeling and intensity as what we want to play. Right.
Exactly.
The whole body is putting the same thing. That's weird, but I got you.
No, you're right. Exactly. So it's an energy transfer. That's probably the easiest way. So energetically, I'm controlling the dynamics of what I'm doing with my hands.
But it's like when we want to focus on something, if you talk with your wife and your wife needs your attention, it's not only an attention with the eyes, your whole body shows and tell her, I'm here, I'm with you, and I'm listening. I think it's kind of the same thing. Your whole body put the same energy, is focused also. You're not focused like this.
No.
With the eyes. You are. You put your body.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, another thing, like you may notice that my eyes are closed most of the time when I play.
When you talk with your wife?
No, I don't have a wife. But like again,
no, when you play,
Yeah, when I play, I close my eyes a lot now. This is really because I'm trying to connect and draw something. Because a lot of my performances, I call them sound journeys. I actually improvise the whole performance. It's something I've been working on and really feel that it works for me, because I am trying to create something of an energetic feeling through the music. So again, it's a culmination of everything. It's all those hours and time of practicing. Yes, I had experience before and a lot of, through my drumming and all that. Yeah. But this instrument is its own instrument. So I had to learn just like everybody else, learn what I need to do on it, because it is unique and it's different. So it was more of an adaptation to this instrument. So all that time and energy focusing on the instrument and putting the hours in, now it's come to a point where it's like, okay, that's been done. I don't have to focus on that now. I just have to focus on whatever's within me. And I mean, this is where music comes from, right? So I'm more working on my whole control through my body and utilizing energetically my presence on the instrument. So
speaking of that, like the improvisation, like you're one of these guys that, the sound journey, your live show is super exciting, but it's not like track 1, track 2, here's a song from this album, here's a song from that. It's just whatever you're feeling in the moment. Like, when did you start doing that? And like, why drift away from, playing some songs off your albums or your singles?
So I always like to try and be as improvisation, like improvise a lot in what I did, even when I had more of a set, even when I had a set, it was kind of like I knew based on what instruments that I was going to use within that set. And then it was like, there may have been this kind of piece that even in the moment, I'd still branch out on it a little bit. So it's like I had a reference. That was more what my thing was. I've never really had like full on pieces. Like you guys have more like pieces of music that you've composed and stuff that you would do. In my live shows, I kind of went with this. I have like this reference of a piece, and I'm just going to explore that even in that moment when I'm on stage. But when it really kicked in to be like actually nothing, just purely in the moment, whatever instruments I may have, was I think 2018. I improvised my whole performance at Gryazdi. And at the time, Jonathan, this is when the low instruments were just coming out, and he just built, I think he bought like 4 of them there.
The A2?
And there was an A2, there was an F2, there was a G2, which is actually this one right here. And there was a E2, which Alessio has, I think, So,
Alessio,
Yeah. So this is when the whole low thing started, just happening. And I remember I was going through something. Actually, I was going through a breakup with my girlfriend at the time. And so that trip was a little bit, it just literally happened while I'm over there. And so it was a little bit of a, emotional, tough one. But that night I was like, you know what? I had this kind of that set, the reference set thing.
Yeah.
And I remember playing the instruments the night before when Jonathan was like, hey, bro, you want to play them? I said, yeah, let me try them. And that night I just I think maybe half an hour before I was going to go on, I just said to Jonathan, I said, listen, can I play those instruments tonight? And he was like, yeah, of course. And I just got up there and I said, all right, everyone, I'm just going to improvise this whole thing. And I think it was probably one of the best performances that I'd ever done.
Yeah. And now, is there any...
not to be boring? Sorry, Dan. How not to be boring? Because usually sound journey and improv for us is synonymous to boring. Because you do take breaks.
You do take breaks in that sound journey, right? Like I remember in Australia, it was 20 minutes and then you said something to the crowd and then, 15 more minutes. Like there are breaks in this, right?
Maybe I used to a little bit. I try not to do that now. I literally just try and because I don't want to break the flow within myself, because it's not easy to come up with something out of nothing and be, as Dave's asking, to be captivating and interesting. And, so I try not to talk too much. Sometimes I do. And then, I'll break out of it and I'll just go back into it. But how do you do it? The key is you have to have musical vocabulary. Now you really are being a musician, because there is nothing for you to grab onto except for the moment, except for that that position that you're in. You know, I try and just utilize the room, the sound of the room, but really, I mean, it's an experience for me as well. So I dig deep within myself, which is why I do it now and why I like doing it. I really enjoy it because it's actually a challenge as well. Yeah. I really have to go deep in order to bring something out for an hour and a half or 2 hours, because sometimes I play that long, you know, and be interesting.
It's interesting. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah. No, do you ever feel like pressure to play? So like for instance, like your Min Car, the last I looked was like what 6-point-something million views on YouTube and whatever else. Like, do you feel the pressure of like, okay, these people know how I play, they know some of my songs, like I should play that one. Like, is there any sort of that pressure in your live set?
No, because the thing is, what I've been doing for the last, you know, I mean, I started sort of full on 2018. For me, it's working.
Yeah.
And also it gives the audience like something that they didn't expect either, which is also, I think, which is a good thing too. So it's not like they're expecting to hear Min Cara or anything like that. I mean, Min Cara for me is so long ago. You know, I mean, I literally wrote that the night before I recorded it. I was doing that a lot back then. Like all those little videos that I'd put out, sometimes they were like maybe 2 hours before I even recorded the video. And it was more of like okay, I did that. And then I didn't even care about it. I just moved on to the next one. I never went in that approach of like holding on to pieces and then working on them. It was just my process because I was so excited to just keep trying to progress on the instrument that it really didn't bother me about holding on. I'm going to get rid of that. It didn't bother me about sort of like holding on to something and you know, building it up to a bigger piece or something like that. It was more just like, okay, I did that one. Let's see what else I can do. So this is almost answering your question a little bit, Dave. Building vocabulary.
Yeah, but okay, vocabulary, I got you. Like a kid, when he doesn't know a lot of vocabulary, he cannot last long when it comes to talk and share things with you. And same for me, my English, the more I gain vocabulary and different way to say one thing, I can last long. But you're closing your eyes, it's vocabulary, but is it like also like states? Because you were talking with your body, and is it also like drawings? I mean, what's happening when you improvise?
Yeah.
Do you have drawings and you're drawing, or do you sing the notes you want to reach? Do you have schemas, patterns?
There is honestly, yeah. All right. Now we're gonna go a little bit deeper in the answer of this. There is nothing that I'm thinking in that moment.
Okay.
To be honest with you, it's almost like an out of body experience a little bit. So I don't feel myself here anymore. I feel myself up here. And that's why I can play the instrument with my eyes closed and I don't even have to look at it. I can see it. I can actually see it in front of me. And so I'm drawing something from somewhere else. That's how I do it.
But do you know what is going to be the next move? Look, I hate dancing. Because when I dance, I don't know what is the next movement, and I don't like that. So either you teach me a choreography and and it's all right. But if I don't know what is the next move, I'm lost. Do you know what is the next move?
Nope.
There had to be some sort of learning curve with that, though. Like, when you were on stage in the beginning, was there ever like I've done that, for 7 minutes already? Like, was there any sort of like learning curve, or was it just like you did it and it felt great?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know really how to break this down other than I'm allowing myself to be extremely vulnerable in that moment.
Yeah.
And I go into my own kind of zone or medium where I'm there, but I'm expressing something from somewhere else through me into the instrument. And it allows me to create music that isn't structured, but it's still music, and it still has the ability, I feel, that it's still to let people feel something from that.
Yeah.
And there's no sequence for me. There are moments where I'm like, this feels like that's where it needs to go, or that's where it needs to end, or whatever. But in general, I just allow myself to be completely present in the moment, and then completely free in the moment. And I let whatever I've played over years, you know, it just comes through and it's different every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you think that means?
Excellent.
What do you think that means for your like albums and recorded projects? Are they all kind of going to have the like live album, or, you know, what does that mean for your releases?
No, I mean, look, I want to work on an album second half of this year. I want to do a solo album. It's been a long time since Life in Color. I did release a live album called Dumia, which was recorded in a dome in Israel. But I enjoy composing as well. And I do have some sort of composition, you know, stuff that I want to build. So for a solo album, they will be more of composed music. I think that's also nice. I like to do everything, but for my live shows, I really enjoy this, you know, free flow, you know, improvised sound journey. Obviously, it's not, you know, like this sort of sound journey you're talking about. It's really sort of like that. That's what what I'm trying to achieve when I do these. So
it's a chapter. It's a chapter of your musical life. You are in the chapter of more impro and sound journey and stuff. Yeah.
And I guess to bring that back to what we were talking earlier, man, I mean, if you're not precise, if you're not working on your dynamics and your chops and you don't have that vocabulary, I mean, those shows are going to be super boring and repetitive. Right? Yeah. But your shows are the furthest thing from that, you know? So I think it just speaks to your practice and all that stuff.
Yeah.
What is like a normal, for time wise, like a normal practice for you? Are you 30 minutes? Like, you know, the hiatus aside, is it 30 minutes a day? Is it 4 hours a day? What does it look like for you?
It used to be, you know, like 4 or 5 hours. I would easily put a day. Now it's more like half an hour is enough. Mm-hmm. Just as long as there's consistency. That's really the main thing. It's like, you know, like focused practice. It's like, what do I not know how to do well? Or, you know, and I always do these strength, efficiency, speed building exercises.
Yeah.
That's usually like, that's just how it starts there. And then it's like, work on some things, you know, just keep, it's almost like being at the gym and just keeping limber now. I'm just keeping everything limber, you know, trying to do that. I mean, sometimes I go a couple of weeks where I actually don't play. There's other things going on, you know, but again, I've had so much foundation building that even like I did a concert at Panos, you know, or a performance at Panos. I hadn't played for a few weeks, you know, played at the day before at Panos. And then, you know, it's like everything just comes in that moment. I think I'm so experienced in it that it's just like, I know that, no, that's fine. Even if my chops aren't as good as what I know they could be, it'll just come in that moment.
But your 80% proficiency in your chops is like, that's a strong 80%. Like, it's,
thanks, man. You know,
And Dan, never forget that even if he just practiced 30 minutes, he does in 30 minutes what you do in 5 hours.
That's right.
Never forget.
That's right. It's the thing, speed. You know? Yeah. He's like, we go half speed, but his half speed is our 3x speed.
It's like a time lapse, man.
That's right. But yeah, we talked live performance in Panos. You guys just give a little backstory on the Panos Festival, man. It's an awesome experience. It used to be on the Great Ocean Road. What's it all about?
Okay, well, I mean, we've tried to get Dave, but he's never been able to make it yet.
I'm horrible.
He's a celebrity, this Dave.
No one can get me out of my hole. I'm sorry, guys. Next year.
One day, yeah. Maybe we can do that. Yeah.
You can leave now, though. It's far. You leave now, you'll be there by next June.
I mean, look, obviously, you know, everything went on hold. Panos, like other festivals, we had to put it on hold for this period of time. We actually are not at that venue anymore, which we had for 5 or 6 years in a row. We came back. We started again this year. We had a different venue. It was an interesting venue. It was cool, but we're not sure where we're going to go for next year. Yeah. We might find another venue. We had David Cookerman come, which he was at our first one, which was really nice. It was almost like a full circle. We're really trying to, like, there's obviously more Australian players coming up now too, really great Australian players. So we are trying to obviously encourage that and bring more Australian players to perform and teach and stuff. But we always like to try and get at least one international player and friend to come over and perform. Dave, like I said, maybe
I
one
need
day.
to come. Yeah, never been there. How is the scene in Australia? You have many builders right now. No, you have Celestial.
No, there's not. Yeah, there's not many builders. There's still really Tim Tom's probably. Yeah, he'd be the most proficient builder.
That was really interesting too, man. Talking to the people there, it was like, you know, there was like a big like sense of pride. Like, yeah, this is like the Australian handpan kind of community and world. And you're like, oh, cool. Like, and you forget how big Australia is, or at least I did. And they were like, oh yeah, we came. It was a 6-hour flight, but it's we're like right next door. Like, what? Like, it's the other side of the world, you know. But it was just really cool to see even these people within the country, just like, yeah, this is everything here is. We built it, and there was like a pride that came with it. It was really it was cool to see.
Yeah. I mean, look, the whole reason Jeremy and myself started Panos is because there was nothing here, and then we had Tim Tom come on board as well. And, I mean, the goal for us, I remember initially when we started talking about this, is that a big thing, now this is how far back this goes, but it's not that far, but you couldn't get handpans here very easily. Mm-hmm. Right. And we were really trying, we started in 2015, was it the first one?
Wow.
And then, or 16, 2017, 18, that's 2018 is when things started changing all over the world, really. But here in Australia, it was really hard, man. And so what was happening was there'd be these bad quality instruments sort of floating in. So a big thing for us was Panos was an educational festival more than anything. Educational in the sense of actually educating people how to play the instrument, but also educating people on what is a good instrument and what is a bad instrument.
Yeah.
And, to try and we were really trying to conserve this approach, like have this approach of like, we don't want the really bad instruments coming into the country and getting into people's hands that didn't know. Yeah. That really it was a big thing. So, and luckily, being very, supported by friends that I knew over the years and started to associate with being friends with Izan and Halo, Kyle, all these guys. We had Meridian, we had Duncan come over, we had Colin come over, we had Matthew come over, we had
Josh.
Really good makers. Josh, of course, has been there from the beginning. They were initially we were having these raffles and they were donating these instruments to be raffled off.
Yeah.
All of a sudden we had like the top quality instruments coming into Australia being available at Panos. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really, I think it set that precedent for like people to understand, okay, like these are the good instruments,
it sets
that was a big thing for us.
Yeah.
We wanted to, sorry.
No, I was going to say, like, what do you think you guys are doing? That's, obviously it's working. I mean, you said like the first one you had 20 people? And then the last one you had like 80 or something. Like, it's like this growth the whole time. Like, what do you think you guys are doing right that you think other communities should take note of?
I think the first one ended up being about 50 or 60 people, but I don't know. I think, look, we're just creating a fun environment that is, that is just the love of the instrument. And I mean, most festivals are that, but I think, Australia is just, I don't know, but the people here, things are a little different. And also because it's still in a lot of ways new, it's still fresh. It's still very unique. In Europe, it had been there a long time. This is the difference. If I'm going to compare it a little bit, like Europeans, this instrument's been around enough. A lot of these players, you go to the festivals, there's a lot of the same people. Here in Australia, there's always new people coming. Yeah. Because, it's not as known. So there's still a fresh like energy around the instrument. I think like this last one we just did was a little bit, it wasn't as big as what I actually thought it might have been, which is fine because we never wanted this festival to be huge anyway. We always sort of capped it at like 60 to 80 people. That's all we really wanted, because we want everyone to really be immersed in it and enjoy themselves and not be like, because when they're big festivals, sometimes you don't even see each other. It's like, I'll catch up with you later. And then, we don't even, it's like, oh man, it's Sunday, or Monday. And it's like, everyone's leaving. Oh, sorry, man, I didn't get to see it.
We'll see you next year.
See you next year,
See you in Australia.
Exactly. So, I think it's just we're just keeping a fun environment. Where it's a very, there's no pressure, there's no ego. There's just, hey, we're all here. Let's jam together. Let's play together. Let's do this. I mean, sometimes and you know me, right? I'm up late all the time. I'm the last person to go to bed, especially at festivals, because I love just playing with people, because I don't get to do it that much here. Where I am, there's, like I mean, from the beginning, I was always pretty much playing on my own.
Yeah.
Jeremy
You've
and I
been one of the
started
very first players in Australia, right?
You and Jeremy, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, one of the.
To be online and
professional players, yeah.
Yeah, professional, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so like I don't like, especially now there is some players coming up, but before there wasn't really, good players, like players at a certain level.
Yeah.
Not to say
who are some of those that you're kind of keeping an eye on? I know Lockley was a really good player.
Lachlan. Yeah, we got Baran Yildiz, who played at Panos this year. We have there's Sam Maher is here, of course.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But Sam lives in Perth. He's quite far away. So there's a young kid now who's playing really well, little Sonny. I don't know if you guys have seen him on
I think I've seen him on
the kid on the beach plays a lot.
Yeah, but in the Panos group, you guys were posting. Panos, he looks like he's 10 years old.
He is 12, I think. Yeah. 11 or 12. Yeah.
That's so cool to see, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, it's, in the end, I mean, the youth is going to be the next generation of handpan players.
Yeah.
So, like, we really want to encourage that. And, I think, it'd be nice to see more young kids actually playing, because you don't really see that many. I'm surprised that I haven't seen...
Below 18, below 15, you don't see many.
Yeah. But, I mean, look, so there is some good players coming up here now. But, for me, in the beginning, I was on my own. Like, having a certain level, that's why, like, I'd go overseas in the States or Europe, and I'd be, like, just wanting to jam with everyone, because I wouldn't get that opportunity to play with good players. And, I mean, I've been very lucky. I've played with pretty much everyone. And I make a point of it. I want to do that. Good, not good, doesn't matter. But, like, I've had the opportunity to play with, all you guys. So, man, we just want to keep going in this direction where it's, educational, as far as learning, for people to come to Panos to learn, a good guidance, a good direction, how to approach the instrument, what is a good instrument, what isn't a good instrument, where they should invest their money, supporting makers, the builders, supporting them as well. We have Dave Gallagher as well, Chef D, bringing his macaws over. Yeah. This year Josh was there. We had Adrian from Oasis Sound Sculpture. Dave was there as well. I don't know if I'm forgetting anyone else. But of course, Tim Tom. So he's doing really well also. So man, it's just we're looking forward for next year as well. Hopefully, let's see. Maybe I'll give you a call later, Dave.
Aha. That would be
You're
excellent.
not too busy, huh?
Guys, I've been focusing on MasterTheHandpan, and that's a chapter of my life. It's not the chapter of improvisation, chapter of focusing on MasterTheHandpan. Young kids, but now both of them are working. I can see a little bit the light at the end of the tunnel, and I see a bit of music, going back to practice a bit more and playing. But I so want to see you guys, and I know that this festival is known to be really awesome with a nice vibe. As you said, everyone is really well taken care of, as it's a kind of not a too big event. It's great. It's great. And just thank you for what you're bringing to this community. It's excellent. And could we have, like, your best tips, going back to the topic of playing fast? You said starting slow. What would you say to this very just beginner? He just got into the handpan and he wants to play like you. Some best tips for him to encourage him on his handpan journey?
Tips beside start slow, because I'm sure to people just starting, that's got to be the most frustrating sentence to hear. Like, I don't want to start slow. Tell me other things.
Well, all right. Well,
I want to be fast. Start slow.
The first thing I would say is, don't focus on trying to play like me or anyone else. That's the first thing. Right.
Good one.
Focus on trying to play who you are, because I already exist. Dan already exists, Dave already exists. You know, if we want to build the instrument and let it continue to grow and branch out, find your voice, but take the influence, take the inspiration from other players to build your voice on the instrument. But if you want like a physical tip of how to do it, I mean, so I really feel that my technique and the way that I utilize my movements is what really helps, because it's not, playing fast isn't just about how much speed you have here. It's also on this instrument, how fast you can move from one part of the instrument to the other with proficiency and efficiency, right? So if you watch what I do when I am playing fast, you'll notice that my hand movements are very, very short as far as how much I'm moving over the instrument. So my positioning and my posture of my hand is quite flat. Okay, I don't bend my wrists.
Yeah, you don't do a long journey.
It's a skimming motion, all right, over the instrument. Same thing here. Okay, so I'm skimming. Let's say the ding is here, all right. I'm skimming over the instrument this way. So I'm trying to find the shortest distance from one part of the instrument to the other. So obviously, this is the long way.
Yeah.
This is medium way. This is the short way. Okay. Yeah. So we've just cut down that distance. This is important. Now, again, this is going to come down to the way that you position and posture your hands through your technique. For me, when I teach people, I say, put your hand out like this, drop your finger down, get these fingers out of the way, okay, and bring that back, all right? This is your natural position. I try and keep everything at a 90, all right? Also, the way that you actually have the instrument on your lap, whether it's seated, standing, is very important as well. If the instrument is too high, it's going to be hard. So, you know, for me, it's always about as low as possible, because I'm looking at how do I move around this instrument with pure efficiency and to be fluid, right?
It's so 90 degree for you?
Pretty much.
With your arms? Pretty much, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, everything for me is like natural position. So I always tell people, sit up straight, keep your core strong here, relax your shoulders, okay? Here we go. You ready, boys? All right, here we go.
Yeah. It's only when you say that you realize how much you're slouching.
With Adrian Portia.
Right. So sit up straight, relax your shoulders. Think about everything, natural position from your body. Not elbows out here. You know, not like this, not like that.
Yeah.
Try and keep everything from here and move straight out from your body to the positions of the instrument. So say, for instance, we have 8 notes. Okay, straight from my body to the highest note. I don't go around to it like this. I look at it in a straight direction, and same thing. As you come to the lower notes of the instrument, I move my body back a little bit to open up my hands so that I'm not bending my wrist to try and get to the lower notes. Because a lot of people have trouble. They're like, how do I strike the lowest notes? Yeah. So what they do is automatically they default to thumbs, because they think,
exactly.
You know, this is good. This works. But I try to utilize fingers only for everything. I will use thumbs at certain points, but I try and also use fingers for everything because I have more control over my fingers.
Yeah, and to have the same touch, right?
Yep.
Because the thumb is heavier, Yeah.
It's a different sound. So when you develop your fingers, you will know how to get a very similar sound out of your thumb, but in general, it is a different sound.
It is.
And there just isn't as much control. So you, as you know, Dan, like when you do your fast movements, you utilize this technique, right? Where you're thumb, finger, okay? Yeah. So I do it. Yeah, I do it with fingers, which in a way, it's a little bit the harder way to do it. Yeah, to be honest, right?
It's a lot more. It seems like it would be a lot more movement, but you're saying it's not.
It's kind of like a singer singing a high note in full voice or a singer singing it in falsetto.
Right. Yeah.
Right. That's like so when you utilize this technique of thumb, which is great, but it's a little bit. I think it's a little bit easier than the way I do it. But for me, it works because I've developed this way.
Yeah.
So I know, like, I have full control over each note that I'm striking. So I can go up fast with low volume, high, whatever I want, and go in between that, because everything is here instead of trying to split between those two, where you will lose. And you lose a little bit of time, actually. But, you know, it's all relative. So again, posture, huge. The way your instrument is positioned, whether it's on your lap, sitting, standing, on the floor, whatever, Try and keep it as low as possible, that at least when you go to bring your fingers or your hands to the ding, you're virtually at a 90-degree angle. Not like this, not down there, just there, natural from the body. Think about movement is straight from the body. Now, look, things change. When you do certain things, you will need to move a little bit this way. But in general, everything for me is this way, okay?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I come to here, straight. So again, I'm bringing down the amount of energy and the amount of movement I have to do to get to certain notes. I can go here to the top note. Why would I do this?
Yeah.
You know, why go like that, right? Just boom, there it is, boom. Okay.
Yeah.
Then there's the whole thing of the posture of the hand and the positioning. Now, this is going to be different for everyone else, but the technique that I teach, this is the movement. It's this, okay? So the wrist isn't bent. It's straight. It's a bit hard to do it here, but okay, if it's like that, it's going to look a bit weird, but this will give you an idea. Fingertip, okay? I come up from the elbow, I come down. The wrist is relaxed. The fingertip is relaxed. I call it one motion. Everything is connected from here to here. Now, when you're striking fast, we're not doing a large movement like this. The movement becomes much shorter, right? But still, the power and the control actually is mostly coming from the elbow. Yeah. Now, where I got this from, or where I adapted it, when I learned drums, I was taught to play match grip, which was they would put crosses on my palm here, okay, on the top here, and I would play this way, right? Then I started to develop into what's called the French timpani technique.
Yeah.
Okay, which is this way.
It's on the board, Dave.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so so it's French timpani is the thumbs are actually up. Like this, you see the thumbs, not this way, that way. Yeah. Okay. And everything, look where it's coming from, right? From here, elbows, right?
Excellent. Yeah.
Like this, through the wrist, and then through to the fingers. Okay. And French timpani also uses a lot of fingers like this. Okay. So that would be the technique. Now, it's like milking a cow, you know. Right. So what I did when I started really thinking about what I'm doing on this instrument and developing my touch and everything, I just flipped everything back around, but still utilized this motion of like French timpani. Now it's this. Okay.
That's a good tip. Yeah.
Right.
That's a good one.
Okay. So you have much more power that you can control when it's coming from here, and the efficiency goes much higher. When you try and strike just from the wrist, you will fatigue a lot quicker. When you try and go just from the fingertip, you will fatigue a lot quicker. When you want power, you want speed, and you want to conserve your energy, this movement is going to save you a lot.
Stronger bones and muscle and articulation.
Exactly. Yeah. So obviously now the beauty about this is that when you want to use dynamics, it's literally, I look at it like I have this full like range of tone. So because everything is relaxed here, I know we're getting more into touch now a little bit, but this is where it all comes from, right? So when I strike, and this fingertip is super relaxed, okay? Super relaxed. It's just literally just sparking a little bit of energy on the membrane, on the tone fields or on the ding, okay? It's super controlled. If I want a little bit more presence, all I do is I bring my elbow up a little bit higher, because what's happening is I'm allowing momentum and almost like pressure in a way, because it's a bit heavier. If you just do this, right, it's super light. If you go from here and drop your hand, there's a little bit more force coming into it, but not with force. It's just like weight. Okay, there's a bit more weight. If you have like a way, the analogy I tell people is, you got a hammer and you have a nail. Okay. Now, if you want to get that nail in, really, really push it in, you will bring your hand up here. You're not going to go tick, 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 are you? You're going to go up here, bang, bang, right? Same sort of thing. But the difference is that even if I want more presence, this connection with the instrument is still the same. So I'm controlling the amount. Can you see when I do this now?
Yeah.
You can see the fingertip is super. It's not. This is tension, right?
No.
That's tension.
Yeah.
Right. So it's super relaxed. Yeah, super relaxed. There's no tension here, but I'm keeping this shape.
Yeah.
Like this.
I think the whip illustration is very good, because when you whip, you just throw and chuck at the very end.
Yeah.
Sure, but this is another key thing to this, and again, this is more about touch. When I strike, I have what's called a release. Now, my release is not, I think we may have spoke about this. My release is not this.
Yeah.
Okay. My release is here. So literally, I would come off maybe an inch off the note, off the ding, the notes, and I hold it, controlled. Yeah. Okay. So let's say the tone field is here. This is the tone field, right? Watch this. See that?
Yeah.
Okay. See that? Okay. See the control here on the release? Connection here. What happens is if you do this, which a lot of people used to say, oh, strike it
as
like
if it's super hot. Yeah. I think it's a mistake. It's a mistake.
Yeah. Who uses that in their workshops?
In the beginning.
Look, I mean, it's fine in a way, but one thing that's going to happen is people will generally do this. Now, when you do this, okay, the tendency is that you're pushing too much pressure on the downstroke.
Yeah.
When you control it like this, you will control how much pressure you're putting on the downstroke. You're controlling it. Okay. So when I teach people, I say, listen, strike it, release, come about an inch off, and just hold it and stay there and relax. Then start again. Hold it, relax your whole body. Okay. Start again. Right. So this way, again, I know it's more about touch, but this is important even with the whole speed thing, because when I'm moving around the instrument, this thing is happening all the time. Okay. So look at the range of movement or motion. I'm not doing this. Okay. What happens if you're doing this? You're losing time. Right. Everything is controlled, right? Very short strokes, especially at speed.
Dynamics too would go out the window.
Well, if you're doing this, for sure. So when I want more presence, I just allow this a little bit more range of motion of the strike. If I'm soft, I'm here. Okay. So it's still movement. If I want a little bit more presence, I just bring this up a little bit more. And that's more energy. But that connection, virtually the same. The actual connection, I'm not striking hard because the release is controlled. Does that make sense?
Excellent. Thank you so much for this great tip. Man. By the way, guys, you've just got a free lesson from Adrian Portia. If you want to thank Adrian, just put a 5 stars on this podcast.
I'm nervous that we're going to get an invoice after that explanation. Man. He's gonna...
or of course, you can always contact me if you want to have a one-on-one lesson as well. If you want to go a little bit deeper in this.
Guys, can you see how well he explains the touch and everything, which is foundational for the playing? It all starts with the touch, the dynamics and all that. Get your lesson by contacting Adrian. It will teach you the right way to play. Thanks. It's excellent. I do have a question, bro. I was thinking about the material. Do you see instrument where you really can play faster than ever because of the material? Maybe your hands bounce more on a certain material. Do you see a difference between nitrated, stainless, some makers, blah blah blah?
I mean, I don't think that it makes a difference for me speed wise. Doesn't matter on the material, but it definitely makes a difference sound wise. So I generally like an instrument that the tone field, the membrane is a little bit softer. Okay, where it's not really hard. Some old nitrided instruments, very, very hard. I try to avoid with my touch, speed, slow, doesn't matter. I want to try and avoid that really tick metallic sound.
Metallic sound,
So it doesn't matter whether it's stainless or whatever. You can still get that sound if the touch isn't quite right. But definitely I prefer an instrument that has that little bit more softness, cushioning to the note. So that helps a little bit with overall tone quality rather than, me not being able to play as fast. I feel like I can pretty much play the same speed on any instrument.
I thought it would be different because some instrument, for me, my hands really bounce differently. And there are some tricks, some stuff I can do. I'm like, wow, it goes well on this material. And some others, I think, as if my hands were sticking to it. Dan, do you have the same experience?
I mean, it can happen. I mean, it happens for me in different room environments. Even my own instrument that I play all the time, like if the room is a little bit moisture, some humidity, you start to get like this sticky kind of feeling off the material.
Horrible.
I hate that. There's definitely that, because it actually happened to me at Panos where I started doing things and it wasn't, I knew that my tone, it wasn't exactly the same because the material was just that little bit, it almost becomes grippy a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
Grippy, yeah.
Because of the humidity and the moisture in the air. But I do adjust a little bit per instrument anyway. I will always see what the instrument tells me and then
adapt.
And adapt to it a little bit.
If there's like a wildly sustaining, especially like stainless or anything, like you know, if you do these like super fast techniques or whatever, like just inherently, you could do the technique the cleanest you've ever done it, but just inherently there's going to be some mud in there because the material is like so it's like leaving the sustain pedal down on the piano, you know. It's
I mean, like I guess that's that whole conversation of people feel like they don't like stainless because there's too much sustain if you want to play percussively and fast. I personally don't feel that. I feel like you can, you know, again, it really depends on your touch, how you utilize your touch on the instrument, even if it's got lots of sustain, which I actually prefer. I'd rather have more sustain that I can do more muting and then utilize the whole spectrum of that sound rather than having less sustain. Because if you want to play slow and do something more emotionally or in depth, when you don't have the sustain, it doesn't feel the same. Right? Then you're reaching over to the mixing board to put more reverb on it, which we don't want, right?
Couple of echoes in there.
Yeah. For me, give me all the sustain you can give. Obviously, there's a point where it could be potentially too much, but you know, it doesn't bother me. I can adjust my touch to sort of numb it down a little bit when I need to.
Yeah. Wise.
The thing is, there's a lot more to this instrument than just striking a note and letting it ring. There is really a mind and body connection and using energy to create your sound, you know, through your touch. And this is more of an in-depth approach, I think, but it's definitely there. It's definitely something to be explored because there's a lot more to it than just literally just hitting it and letting it do its thing.
The Handpan Show is brought to you by Master the Handpan, the world's largest online handpan educational platform. Whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced player, or want to learn from one of your favorite players, Master the Handpan has everything you need to improve your skills and have fun. Feeling lost while searching for your first handpan? Master the Handpan has you covered with our one-stop marketplace, connecting you with reputable makers to find your perfect instrument. Join our thriving community of over 15,000 handpan players and share your passion with like-minded handpan enthusiasts. Master the Handpan. Learn fast, have fun.
All right. I feel like, Dave, we could talk to him all day, man.
That's why, I could keep going.
I know. We have to, long. Once we start, you know, doing more of these, we'll have to have you back on, Adrian, because, you know, especially like, it's always fun, like when we talk to like our friends, like we haven't caught up in a while. So like just, you know, just kind of shooting it. It's nice.
We're doing these episodes for us, you know, just to catch up on time with friends.
That's right.
That's good.
But before we let you go, man, we have this rapid fire question section where it's like non-handpan stuff.
All right, lay it on me.
Get ready.
So the first question: what was the first album you've ever owned?
Brothers Johnson.
What is your dream collaboration?
Oh man, that's a tough one.
That's why it's on the list. That's why it's here.
Dream collaboration. Oh man, I've got so many.
Name two of them.
I mean, one guy's passed away. It was Joe Zawinul. I don't know if you guys are from Weather Report. That would be an amazing thing to be able to collaborate with him. Check out Joe Zawinul, Weather Report, or any of his music. He was a piano player. You know Hirumi? Do you guys know the piano player Hirumi? Japanese girl. Man, I've been getting into her a lot, and I know it's not one word, but
all right,
it
could be a little longer.
There's just too many on the list.
Yeah,
I don't even know right now. You put me really on the spot.
All right, Dave, mission accomplished, buddy.
Yes, well done.
But what is the one artist that you love that people would be surprised to know? Guilty pleasure, type thing.
Secret listening. Hidden playlist on Spotify.
Look, I really like some old R&B singers, so it's not really a big surprise. But there is one singer called Maxwell. Do you know him, Dan?
Dude, of course. Yeah.
Man. I mean, I would utilize his music for in the car, just jamming with a girl. It's that kind of music.
Like, Dave, do you know him? Do you know Maxwell's music?
I know the name, but I'm not sure if I know the music related to his name.
That's just the first thing that came to my mind. So I'm going to say Maxwell.
There you go.
Right.
What is the story of your first kiss?
Oh my God.
He's blushing, so it has to be good.
No. I think if I remember, it was a girl at the beginning of high school. I mean, we're talking an official kiss, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Proper one.
Yeah, I think it was, we were hiding in a bus stop after school.
Oh, scandalous.
We ran into we hid in this bus stop, and that was my first kiss.
There you go.
Excellent.
Did you write these questions, Dave? I think you did, didn't you?
It's a collaboration. It's an effort.
It's a collaboration. Of course, being French, we have to talk about kissing.
There should be a kiss somewhere. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah.
What was your most embarrassing moment on stage? And don't do like there are no embarrassing moments. Every moment's beautiful. I want to know.
My mic didn't work.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah. No,
we need the juice.
I don't think I have like a personal embarrassing moment that something happened to me that I can remember, but definitely there's something that happened while I was performing that was, I guess, embarrassing for the other person.
Okay.
It was at Panos, actually. I think it may have been the one you were at, if I remember correctly, or maybe it was the year after. So it was when Alexandra Laura and Christian were there. I was playing, and I was in this moment. I was playing the instrument vertical on the ding. I was doing something, and it was this sort of just this soft moment where I'm hitting the thing, and someone farted in the hall, and it was like loud as anything. And I think for a moment, people thought it was me. It wasn't me. It was someone in the audience. So whoever that was, if you're watching this, good job.
It was loud enough to beat the PA system.
Oh man, it was just like a trumpet. So I think that was kind of embarrassing, because I know that I think people thought it was me in that moment, but it wasn't me. It was
secondhand embarrassment. Yeah,
it is on video somewhere. I may be able to even send it to you, because I remember Alessio from Hardcase Technologies was there filming, and he laughed like, and I made it kind of like a not bad gesture,
Yeah.
What is your favorite food?
Oh, sushi.
Smart, wise.
Yeah.
Who is your current favorite handpan artist?
Who is my current favorite? Look, I've always really admired Manu Delago. I think what he's doing with the instrument as a whole is a really high level to achieve. That is, of that sort of level. As far as favorite handpan artists, look, Dan, Dave, I got to put you guys in there,
Thank you, brother.
You're my favorite.
Episode over. This is what we came for. That's it. We got our sound clip. We got our sound bite.
So good.
Look, I think I like people who have got their own voice. That for me is the big thing. So, like Dan, and we've talked about it, you have your own thing, you have your own voice. This is really what when I look at handpan players, guys like Alex Laura, Dave, you have your own thing. David Cookerman. Look, there's a lot of you guys. I'll be honest with you. I don't look for inspiration through handpan players for myself. That's the honest truth. I don't, because I don't want to sound like anyone else. Even when there's new techniques and things coming out, maybe I might take something from it, or I just leave it, because I kind of want to just have my own thing. So when I look for inspiration on the instrument, I know these are not fast firing questions, but I'll elaborate a little bit on it. That I look at other instruments as inspiration: piano players, bass players, guitarists, trumpet, whatever. I try and just I will support and look at my friends who are playing. It's like, great, but I don't look at it for my own inspiration.
I know
on
what
the
you mean.
instrument.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And that's not to say anyone coming up, look at all your favorite players, be inspired by them. But remember, there's a difference between imitating somebody and being inspired by them, and taking something and turning it into your own thing, your own voice. There's a balance that you have to sort of start to learn how to become your own thing, because we all, there's already myself, there's already Dan, there's already Dave, there's already Nadeshana, there's already, take from everyone that you look up to, but turn it into your own thing. Just don't get caught up in trying to play like someone else.
It's good advice.
Because they already exist,
Yeah, just put 5 stars for this advice, guys, on the podcast, on Apple Music, whatever. I'm boring with that. I love doing this. What are your hobbies outside of music? Hobbies.
I love working on cars. That's a big one for me. Cars is definitely a huge one. I enjoy just being in nature. I really enjoy just, I'm trying to do more of that. I'm actually heading to the beach this weekend.
Nice.
It's been a long time. So yeah, I would say cars is probably the biggest hobby that I have outside of the instrument. Yeah, doing up cars. So yeah.
All right, man. 2 more.
Yep.
What is the one song that makes you happy every time you hear it?
Whoa. One song that makes me happy every time I hear it. Man, isn't it hard sometimes to really, for me, it's hard to name these things.
Oh,
when you're
yeah.
on the spot.
Yeah.
Really hard.
Again, that's why they make the list, buddy.
Yeah. Song that I hear makes me happy. Oh, man. Why is it that there's nothing?
Yeah, right.
We talk about handpan things. I'm like, and you say this, and I'm like, and it's there, but I just can't think of what it would
No
be.
problem. We can
What
move to the last one, and if it pops, just tell it.
All right.
The last one is very interesting. Be honest. If you had $1 million, what would you be? What would be the first thing you would do? You would buy. I give you $1 million.
$1 million. First thing I would buy. The first thing I would do with it, if I was given $1 million, is I would pay off my mortgage. That's the first thing I would do.
Smart.
Because I would just pay off my mortgage. That way I would have more freedom to do the things that I want to do wholeheartedly, that. So then I could go, right, I'm just going to go full on with the handpan. And, I don't have to worry about, trying to bring in income from other places through other things. So that would be the first thing. I would travel the world and do performances for free.
Excellent. Yeah.
I would do it for free, just to expand, just to offer something to the audience, different audiences. It doesn't have to be handpan players. It can be just people in general, just to offer what I do.
Nice.
And I would try and travel the whole world and do it for free. That's what I would do.
Solid.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great answers, man. Well, thanks for playing our little game. This has been, we said it before, but we could talk all day. It's always a pleasure. But what's next for you? What do you have coming up, man? Panos just happened.
Panos just happened. We've got Sydney Handpan Festival. I'm going up to teach and perform at that one, so that'll be good. And there is a little bit of talk about Europe potentially. So I think, maybe I need to get in touch with a few people again and see if we can make that happen. So I don't know if I can say where they're going to be, but I would love to come back. For me, I would love to come back to Europe just to see all my friends.
Yeah.
I want to get back to the States as well. I think things are opening up a little bit easier for me in April, I heard. So cool. I could get back to the States. I just want to be able to travel. Obviously, like I said earlier, second half of the year, I want to dedicate to create a new solo album, handpan only. So it'll be, just handpans. I'm also working right now on my own personal workshops, courses here in Australia. So people can come, we do a full, like a 4-part workshop. So I'm working on that. I'm hoping to have the venue locked in for April, so next month. So people will be able to sign up for like a 4-part workshop, and then we do each week, one session per week, maybe up to 8 to 10 people. Yeah.
Great.
That's a big one, trying to get going. And yeah, man, just trying to get back into the flow again.
Yeah, man.
Just the flow on the instrument, creating, making music. Social media has been a bit of a tough one for me, getting some consistency again. It's funny, you step away for a long time, it's hard to sort of get back into that. So I'm trying to just create some more content again and just show people that I'm still around and still creating and playing.
That's it,
bro.
man.
You have a name.
Yeah.
Whenever you come back, you're there. We're there. You have a name, and we love this name.
Yeah. Thank you.
Adrian Portia.
We're very happy you're back from the hiatus. Where can people find you? What's the best social media to follow you on?
Instagram, Facebook. I kind of just post. I don't really go on there that much anymore. I think things have changed a little bit with that. But Instagram is still, I guess, the main one. I'm going to start trying to get some videos back up on YouTube. I wanted to start a meditation style video. Been wanting to do it for years. So I want to work on that as well. Have that on YouTube. It may be like a 20-minute handpan flow through meditation. And you can also contact me on my website, www.adrianportia.com. I guess they're the main ones.
Cool.
Nice. Cool. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, man. It was a real pleasure.
You can find me on MasterTheHandpan as well. So
the guy, he never think about promoting. Wow, that's so unusual for me. I'm always talking about this MasterTheHandpan, but here it's the podcast.
That's right.
I forget these things. I don't care.
Out of business mode.
MasterTheHandpan, go check it out if you want to learn from Adrian Portia. No, honestly, the course is excellent, and you're teaching all the things you said here. You are developing and showing on the instrument, and it's a great one. Thanks for. I have a nice souvenir from this shooting. That was excellent.
Yeah. By the way, there was a little piece that we made together. Is that ever going to come to life?
Bro, you know what? I thought about it this week. Okay, so the thing is, I recorded that little song with everyone, and you had your part, which is an excellent part, so groovy, but Jeremy Natag and Dan, they are not on this song. It's a song with all the learn from the best guys. So I need to send them the track so that they record themselves. Otherwise, I'm gonna have enemies.
That's a good tactic. It's just you asked him a question and he blamed it on me as to why it's not.
I did.
Me and Jeremy. Yeah.
What I noticed between you two guys, that Dave will always blame you anyway,
dude,
right? So
yeah.
That's how it works.
That's right.
Now I have it's a good one. I have the files. Everything is together on the timeline, but I need Dan and Jeremy.
Listen, I have so many projects and things collaborations that I've done in the past. It's like, and then I'm in the same position. I want to start getting back to those, editing those videos and music and just putting them back out there.
Yeah.
It's, it's life. Things happen.
Yeah. And actually on these videos, I had hair. And now, it's 3 years after.
That's it.
It won't be really fresh.
I started getting so many gray hairs over these last couple of years.
Yeah.
He's all right. You got a little bit in your beard there, Dan?
Oh, dude, it's not so much in the hair, but it's all in the beard.
Oh,
and it's
Gandalf.
People they've said that. Oh, you dye it? Like, you think I would dye just this one section? Like, no, this is lack of sleep and too many projects. That's where this comes from.
So, hey, thanks for having me. Thanks.
Of course, man. We'll have to have you back on again. We can talk all day.
We can talk about other things. I'd love to come back on, and good on you guys for starting this podcast. Something I've always actually wanted to do, but it's great that you guys are doing it, and I'm sure it's going to be really successful and a great offering to the community and people who want to get involved with the instrument. It's awesome.
Exactly. Thanks.
Adrian Portia.
Adrian Portia, thanks for the episode.
Thank you. I hope to see you both very, very soon.
Likewise, man.